This videotape explains the procedures for the maintenance and inspection of the Mitsubishi UEC LA diesel engine. This videotape is composed of the following items: the principal construction and features, fuel valve, the exhaust valve, cylinder cover, piston, main bearing, crank pin bearing, crosshead pin bearing, adjustment of the fuel pump injection timing. The index number will be seen at the lower right of the screen during each segment. Thank you very much for your patronage of Mitsubishi's UE LA Series diesel engine that we boast to the world. The UEC LA engine is of simple construction with excellent performance. First of all, we'll explain the principal construction and features of the UEC LA engine. The bed plate, column, and cylinder jacket are made of cast iron and are one body or block construction with sufficient rigidity and firmly clamped to each other with tie bolts. The crankshaft is a steel semi-built-up type with the thrust shaft shrunk to the driving end of the crank arm, which is provided with a Mitchell-type thrust bearing. The piston is composed of a skirt and a head, and the head, which is made of special steel, has piston rings to prevent gas leakage and is of such a structure that it's internally cooled with oil. The cylinder liner is provided with the CSS, that is Controlled Swirl Scavenging Port, which has the optimum swirl angle for the purpose of improving scavenging efficiency. The exhaust valve is made of heat-resisting special steel, and its exhaust gas passage is a non-cooling structure, so exhaust gas energy is used more efficiently. The fuel pump, located at the cam side middle stage, is in such structure that fuel injection timing can be regulated by adjusting the adjusting screw from the outside. The piston ring and cylinder liner can be inspected through the peephole provided at the cam side middle stage of the cylinder jacket while turning the crankshaft. The fuel valve is equipped with a mechanism to change the valve opening pressure by automatically changing the spring load by air pressure for improving combustion at medium and low loads. Now the maintenance and inspection procedures will be explained, starting from the fuel valve. To remove the fuel valve, you'll need the tool that you see here. First, remove the fuel injection pipe, fuel valve cooling water pipe, and valve opening pressure control air pipe. Remove the fuel injection valve fixing nuts using the special spanner. Then set the fuel valve removing hydraulic ram. By operating the hydraulic pump, apply hydraulic pressure and push up the hydraulic ram to its maximum stroke. Attach a lifting tool and shackle and carefully lift the fuel valve. To disassemble and adjust the fuel valve, you'll need the tools you're looking at here. The fuel valve rotary work table that you're seeing here is used for the injection test, disassembly, and inspection of the fuel valve. First, fix the fuel injection valve to the rotary work table. Remove the valve opening pressure control device. Then loosen the injection valve opening pressure regulating nut until it can be rotated by hand. Rotate the fuel injection valve 180 degrees and fix the fuel injection valve again. Loosen the nozzle clamping cap nut with a ring spanner and remove the nozzle. Remove the internal parts of the fuel injection valve by removing the adjusting screw. Clean the nozzle hole using a nozzle cleaning needle, as you see here. If more than 2 model gauges can be inserted into the nozzle hole, discard that nozzle since it exceeds the wear limit. Collect the disassembled parts together at one place for each fuel injection valve to avoid mixing it with other fuel injection valve parts. Whenever the fuel injection valve is released, always adjust its injection pressure. Adjust the adjusting screw to get the valve opening pressure of 320 kilograms per square centimeter. After the adjustment, fix the adjusting screw and check the injection pressure again. Then adjust the injection pressure at the high pressure injection side using the clearance adjusting nut. The valve opening pressure at the high pressure side is adjusted to 550 kilograms per square centimeter with the clearance adjusted to 2.5 millimeters with a feeler gauge. After the adjustment, fix the lock nut. After the valve opening pressure is adjusted, perform the atomization test. Fuel oil must be uniformly atomized. Check the state of spray to make sure there is no after dripping or things such as that. When reinstalling the fuel injection valve, install it in the reverse order of removal. Perform the clamping work at torque specified for each engine. To remove the exhaust valve, these are the tools you'll need. In removing the exhaust valve, first remove the oil cushion top cover mounting bolt below the push rod. Then lift the rocker arm up and lean the push rod out. Then raise the rocker arm and fix with a fixing pin. Before starting the work, drain the cooling water in the exhaust valve and remove the exhaust pipe and cooling water outlet pipe connecting bolts. Using a hydraulic unit, remove the exhaust valve clamping bolt nut. Then remove the rubber cover and remove the valve stem retainer of the exhaust valve. Using the retainer mounting screw hole, install the valve seat holding piece. When the exhaust valve is adhered to the cylinder cover, attach a sheet metal, guide bolt, and jack bolt to 2 diagonal bolts out of 4 exhaust valve clamping bolts. Jack up the exhaust valve and pull it out. Attach a cable to the ribs of the exhaust valve body and lift the valve up. Installation of the cylinder cover is done in the reverse order of removal. Tighten the exhaust valve mounting bolts in the order you see here. Tighten the mounting bolts for the 45 LA engine or above at a hydraulic pressure of 640 kilograms per square centimeter using the hydraulic unit. On the 37 LA engine, tighten the nuts to the angle of rotation of 110 degrees using the ring spanner. Install the exhaust valve removed from the cylinder cover to the disassembling rotary work table. When installing the exhaust valve to the rotary work table, align the exhaust gas outlet flange bolt holes of the exhaust valve to the bolt holes of the disassembling rotary work table. All the disassembly and inspection work of the exhaust valve are performed on this rotary work table. The special tools you see here are used for disassembly and inspection. The definite method of using each tool will be explained according to the work step. First, we'll use the bolt shown by the arrow. Using this bolt, firmly fixing the exhaust valve placed on the rotary work table. This rotary work table is capable of changing the direction of the exhaust valve freely to any easy-to-work position. First, remove the cotter pin from the exhaust valve. The tool to be used is the one the arrow is pointing to. To prevent the valve stem of the exhaust valve from falling, install the valve seat fixing piece and valve seat holder with bolts. Turn the exhaust valve over again and remove the rubber cover. Remove the locking wire. Then remove the bolt and remove the fixing plate. The holding piece, cotter retaining plate, and drawing bolt, all shown by arrows, are used. Insert the stanchion of the holding piece into the rubber cover threaded mounting hole and firmly fix the holding piece. Then set the cotter retaining plate on the exhaust valve. Connect a hydraulic tube to the hydraulic ram mounted on the holding piece. Push down the hydraulic ram to its maximum stroke by applying hydraulic pressure of 450 kilograms per square centimeter and compress the exhaust valve spring. Screw the dismantling bolt to the cotter and then remove the cotter. After that, reduce the pressure. When the pressure is reduced, remove the tools. The next step is to pull out the exhaust valve spring. tools shown by the green arrow will be used. Attach lifting eye bolts to the spring retainer and lift it up with a cable. Then screw the spring retainer removing tool into the lower spring retainer, and after firmly fixing it, pull out the spring and the spring retainer using a cable. First, using a screwdriver, remove the ring which prevents the valve stem from falling. That ring is mounted on the valve stem. Rotate the rotary work table 180 degrees and remove the valve seat holder that had been previously installed. To pull out the valve stem of the exhaust valve, the fixing plate and lapping handle shown by the arrows will be used. Fix the fixing plate using packing so as not to damage the valve seat. Then install the lapping handle to the valve stem, pull it out, and pull up the valve stem with the cable. To remove the valve seat, first remove the previously installed fixing plate. To remove the valve seat, use the exhaust valve seat lifting tool shown by the arrow. Attach the exhaust valve seat lifting tool to the valve seat in a well-balanced manner and carefully lift up the valve seat. Assembly is done in the reverse order of disassembly. In assembling the exhaust valve, apply oil to the valve seat and valve stem seat, and in addition, apply moly coat to the sliding part of the valve stem to prevent its adhesion, but do not apply anything to the gasket and gasket surfaces. When attaching the valve stem to the exhaust valve grinding machine, thoroughly clean the valve stem in light oil. The stem of the valve stem should be especially thoroughly cleaned as it may affect the center deflection. Gently insert the valve stem until it touches the stopper. After inserting the valve stem, remove the lapping handle. After inserting the valve stem, firmly fix the valve stem by clamping the pinion, which has a stamp of the scroll chuck circumference under the grinder. To properly set a grinding angle, adjust the center deflection using a dial gauge. Adjust the accuracy to 5/100ths of a millimeter or less. If the deflection cannot be adjusted to tolerance, loosen the chuck, adjust the valve stem location, and tighten the chuck again so that a valve within the tolerance is indicated by the dial gauge. The angle of the exhaust valve seat is 40 degrees, as you see here. Set the grinding angle at 40 degrees. By rotating the slide handle, bring a grinding wheel to a point where it just contacts the valve seat surface. When the grinding wheel is brought to contact the valve seat surface, turn the cutting handle to set the cutting scale at 0. After the setting, move the grinding wheel away from the valve seat surface and bring it to the inside of the valve seat surface by turning the grinding wheel sliding handle. By setting the one-time cutting amount at 1/100th of a millimeter or less, grind the valve seat from the inside to the outside. After the rough grinding of the overall surface of the valve seat, exchange the grinding wheel with the finishing wheel and perform the finish grinding at the cutting amount of 5/1000ths of a millimeter. The next step is the grinding of the valve seat. Thoroughly clean the valve seat with light oil. Then install the valve seat in the grinding machine. Remove the exhaust valve seat lifting tools, insert a fixing plate and fixing bar, and tighten the scroll chuck that we mentioned before. To adjust the deflection, completely fix the fixing bar only by the scroll chuck and loosen the fixing bar and fixing plate mounting bolts. Set a dial gauge to the seat surface and make the adjustment to bring the deflection to 5/100ths of a millimeter or less. When the tightening and adjustment are completed, adjust the grinding angle in the same manner as in the valve stem and grind from the inside to the outside. To fit the valve stem and valve seat, you'll use the tools shown by the arrow. After setting the valve seat, while paying attention to the knock pin position, fix the valve seat using the fixing plate. Use backing so as not to damage the valve seat. Then set the lapping spring and insert the exhaust valve stem. Apply lapping powder on the valve seat and the valve stem seat and perform the lapping by moving them up and down, just like hitting them to one another, while rotating the lapping handle to the left and the right using both hands. At this time, make sure that the overall surfaces of both seats are contacting each other. That's all that needs to be done for the maintenance and inspection of the exhaust valve. To remove the cylinder cover, we'll use the tools you see here. As preparatory work, close the main valve of the starting air receiver, and after draining the cylinder cooling water, close all of the fuel valve cooling water inlets and outlet cocks. Then, disconnect all pipes from the cylinder cover. Clean the threaded parts of the cylinder cover bolts and install the hydraulic unit. Set 2 hydraulic units diagonally, apply hydraulic pressure by operating the hydraulic pump, and loosen the nuts of the cylinder cover bolts. Attach the exclusive use lifting tools to the cylinder cover and gradually lift up the cylinder cover. When installing the cylinder cover, clean the contacting surface with the cylinder liner. Use new soft steel packing and cylinder liner O-rings and apply grease to the cylinder liner inserting section. Clean the threaded parts of the cylinder cover bolts and apply moly coat. Install the cylinder cover to fit the guide pin in the proper direction while paying attention to the pipes around the cylinder cover. Tighten the cylinder cover bolts in the sequence shown, then retighten them to the specified hydraulic pressure of 640 kilograms per square centimeter, again following the correct sequence. To adjust the tappet clearance, you'll need this tool. Adjust the tappet clearance at top dead center of the measuring cylinder while keeping system lubricating oil pressure at the specified value when the engine is in its cold state. Loosen the lock nut and adjusting screw, then screw the handle of the adjusting tool to compress the spring in the tool until the upper face of the spring retainer comes to the lowest end portion of the inspection eye. The rocker arm is risen by this compressed spring force. Insert a feeler gauge into the measuring point through the tappet holder. Tighten the adjusting screw and fix it with a lock nut. Pull the piston out, use this tool and the one shown by the arrow. First, bring the piston to bottom dead center by turning the crankshaft and remove the piston rod clamping nuts. Then remove the bolts fastening the piston rod stuffing box. Attach the band to the piston rod to prevent the piston rod stuffing box from falling. Remove the piston rod stuffing box drain pipe . Remove the piston cooling oil outlet pipe . Remove the soft steel packing and clean the lifting eye bolt threaded mounting hole at the top of the piston. Screw the lifting eye bolt into the threaded mounting hole and firmly fix it. Attach a shackle to the lifting eye bolt and slowly lift the piston. When the piston is lifted to the top surface of the cylinder liner, put a piston positioning plate across the top of the cylinder liner and put the piston on it. lifting eye bolt, and then remove the piston top ring. Attach the lifting tool into the top ring groove and slowly lift up the piston. After the piston is pulled out, insert it into the piston servicing hole on the engine upper stage floor plate. To insert the piston, use the tools shown by the arrow. Place the piston inserting guide on the top surface of the cylinder liner and slowly insert the piston into the liner. Make sure that oil is flowing out of the cylinder lubricating hole, and also apply cylinder oil over the inner surface of the cylinder liner. Insert the piston in reverse order of the extraction. Before starting the work, station a worker in the crankcase and perform the work carefully while workers stationed in the crankcase and at the upper stage closely cooperate with one another. When inserting the piston, it is the point to set the piston rings so that their cutting surfaces are staggered. Further, the piston rod packing outside of the piston, and piston ring grooves must be thoroughly applied with cylinder oil. The LA engine is of such construction that an adjusting plate is inserted between the piston rod and crosshead pin, eliminating the centering work. To take out the main bearing metal, first remove the main bearing cap. Removal procedures we'll be showing you in animation. These are the tools you will use to remove the main bearing cap. Remove the main bearing cap mounting nuts by operating the hydraulic unit. Then attach a lifting tool to the top of the main bearing cap and carry out to the outside of the crankcase using a chain block.